are live. What does that do? Oh, it just covers the little button. Keep the little QR code if we want to. Check out our advent calendar collection. Oh, we got some folks jumping in. Blake wouldn't be able to see it because he's not paying attention. Blake,
well, I was trying to post my story on...
I thought for the work meeting today that you would have the turtleneck on. I thought maybe for your debut tonight you'd have the turtleneck on.
You know, I for what started out as a joke, and then I just stuck with it. And then I got more comments on the fact that I was wearing a turtleneck at Thanksgiving. But my wife and sister were like, I wish we had a fancier Thanksgiving. And so I was like, I could make this thing fancy. I got a cashmere turtleneck in the closet. So
that's right.
Let's see. Where are my YouTube comments? I think I got to do this. All right, 2 seconds, and we will kick Advent Calendar.
Okay, like you said, it gives me a chance to also try and share something. I don't know how to. What's the best way to share this to my story? What's going on, everybody? What's going on, everybody? We got some folks. Looks like we're getting some folks here from the good old Instagram. Nicholas, what's going on? Hunter, Brad, what's up? Hope everyone's ready to dive into the first week. While you're here, let us know. Are you catching? I'm actually curious just to know if you're catching the stream because you saw it pop up or if you actually got an Advent calendar. So let us know if you're actually joining us in the Advent calendar tonight as we dive in.
Awesome. We want to I pulled this up so I can see comments, and yeah, we're ready to jump in.
I think you could, if you wanted to. I mean, you could either jump. I mean, we're getting 26 people already. I was going to say you could give it just another minute or two. Let some more folks roll in if you want.
I feel like that's such a social media influencer thing to say of like, oh, I'm going to wait here while the people join the chat.
I just bought my first thing off of TikTok Shop where they give you an extra code that you can claim during the live. So that was an experience. I felt like I was on a game show. They're like, come on, guys, you got 10 more minutes. 10. Hold on. Randy, we got Randy in Las Vegas. Just bought one. It's like QVC.
Was it a Labubu?
It was not a Labubu. It was not a Labubu.
No. We got some calendar. We got some
North Carolina going on. Yeah.
Well, I feel like
one's
this
in
is
the glass
first,
right now.
You know, we're knocking out like all of the fancy things. This is, it's also the unboxing. It's the first time I've gotten to do this where I, crack it open through the case. That's fun to do. Yeah. Well, let's get it started.
I love it.
Oh shoot. I did forget you do have to open and remove the foam and then you can pop into the calendar.
That's how you do it, Blake. That's how we get into it.
There were the handy instructions.
And this was number 1, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's how the first of things work, man. That's how the first work.
It's I'm still
Hunter,
the person.
Chill, okay, we got the mic situation figured out. Hey, I will let everyone know if you all aren't. Hey, hold on. If this is your first time here on the YouTube, welcome. This is the Seelbach YouTube. Every week, Blake and I have been putting out a video talking about the new releases coming out. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, like this video. Let us know what you're most looking forward to from the Advent calendar. If you've peaked, let us know if you're good and you haven't peaked. Okay, we're keeping track of who's naughty and who's nice. But at the same time, well, I don't even remember what I was going to eat.
You were going to make fun of my mic. I know where that was going.
No. Listen, no. That is where I was going. Everyone, keep in mind, for over 100 episodes of the Bourbon Community Roundtable, Kenny and Ryan have given this man crap for his audio, And I'm going to tell you, we started doing our weekly reviews, and I don't think I've heard an issue at all.
Exactly. You know, I just wanted to throw them a fake and make them think that I didn't know what I was doing.
Setting the expectations low, so they're like, we'll just do all the work, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, cool. Well, let's get it going. You know, I'm not sure what to do on the live because it's usually me and Brian doing this and be like, oh, you want to record? Yeah, cool. Let's go live. So there's like a clear cutoff, but no, thank you everybody for joining. This is the inaugural 2025 Seelbach Advent Calendar tasting. A lot of fun to have this. You know, even if you don't have a calendar, they are sold out. There's a chance a few more could pop in from the shipping reserves, but they are sold out. So it's a fun thing where, you know, we looked at it this past year. Is like, what's the big request we get? What are things people are always looking for? Smaller format bottles, got to be one on the list. So we dove down this road of an advent calendar, and Emily, who's joining us tonight, you know, not usually a face that's on screen at Seelbach, so it's fun to have her here. She is the one who is behind it and made it all happen. And if you're wondering if it's difficult to put one of these together, the answer is pretty simple. Yes, it's not easy to coordinate with 21 different suppliers, with transfer and bonds, bottling, different bottles coming from who knows where. So first, before we start anything, thank you, Emily, for making this happen. And yeah, so we'll be jumping into day one of the Advent calendar, which, if you don't know yet, surprise is over. It is the Seelbach Private Reserve Christmas Rye. And before we jump in, let's do, you know, for those who are new to watching us or haven't seen Emily enough, let's do an intro. Emily, introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. I'm Emily. I made this all happen, so you're welcome. No, it truly was a labor of love. Really enjoyed, you know, not only am I new to Seelbach, but I'm really new to bourbon as a whole. So this was a really fun way to really immerse myself in the entire craft spirit world. Got to meet and work with all these different brands, and met and worked with all these different people, a lot of different faces. Got to build all these relationships. It was a really, really fun year. This first pour is actually the Amburana is the first pour.
It's Amburana. Okay. I had that wrong.
That's right. Yeah, no. The Amburana is our first pour.
What?
It's Amburana.
But you got to
trying to shake people out of the calendar right from the get-go, aren't you?
So sorry. No, new surprise.
No, but you have to explain why it's the first pour.
So here's the deal. It's like, so Blake helped, Blake really curated the calendar, really, you know, he chose all of the brands that he wanted to be in this and helped us put things together, but I didn't get to make some of my own choices. Amburana is the Seelbach Amburana is my personal favorite product that we have. It's Christmas in a glass. This was before I knew we were doing a Christmas rye. So I just thought, like, what a better way to start the holiday season than with an Amburana pour right off the bat. Personally, I like it with my mother's chocolate covered pretzels. You might eat it with your own Christmas treats, but that's what I like to pair it with. It's delicious with that salty caramel or salty chocolate flavor. It just pairs really nice with that. Yeah, that's why I picked it to go first. So that's why we're having it.
and let you know, lessons of life. If you create it, you get to call the shots on what goes first in the box.
This one was one of them. So.
Yeah. And I think that is the fun part, is because, like, whenever I was kind of thinking of the Christmas rye idea, but Amburana has just always been that, like, Christmassy spice whiskey, and it's a great way. It's cold night, you start with the tasting of it, and you're like, if you're by a fire in a cold night and you've got a little Christmas music playing softly in the background. Amburana is kind of the way to go. I understand it's controversial. Some people love it, they hate it. We'll dive into the details a little bit about how we create our Amburana for Seelbach in just a minute. But Brian, for those who maybe not know, you want to give an intro?
Yes. Hello, my name is Brian, and I do not like long walks on the beach. So I am a little less new to the team here at Seelbach. I am, you might catch me in video form, sending out some of your newsletters. You also, I don't know, you might just know me as an Amburana fan, which is strange, that I'm on here. But no, that's me. I don't know. I kind of, do things around here. So
yeah. I was gonna say if you've bought an advent calendar, it'd be hard to miss Brian between the emails and everything else. But yeah, excited to kick this off. So let's dive in. So first pour is the Seelbach Amburana bourbon, and so for those who don't know, Amburana, it really caught on. Probably call it 3 years ago, I would say, is when it really started taking off with a lot of barrel picks and people doing Amburana finishes. It's a Brazilian teak wood, mostly used in cachaça for the longest time. Some brewers started using it probably 7-8 years ago. And then it really didn't hit the whiskey world until I'd say like 3-4 years ago. I know the first time I had it, I was at Starlight, and it was kind of one of those situations where they're just rolling out different barrels. They're like, oh, this is Amburana. And I didn't want to sound like the only guy in the group who didn't know what he said. I'm like, maybe I just heard him wrong and he said a word I didn't understand. And then we tasted it. I'm like, oh, hold on. You got to explain this to me. What is this again? And for those tasting it, you'll notice like right on the nose, it's just this big cinnamony, Cinnabon kind of custardy like nose. And it's crazy that wood, with most of our finishes, I think the minimum we do is probably 3 months, and that's pretty short. That'd be for like a honey or a maple. For the Amburana, we do like 3 to 5 days. So what you have in your glass tonight, it's a blend of 6-year and 7-year Bardstown Bourbon Company bourbon. We blend that, and then it goes into the Amburana for literally 3 or 5 days. We kind of watch it, and I think this is batch 4, so I think it was 5 days because it was probably the third use that we would have had in these barrels. We've got a blend of some new Amburana. They're just new. They're not even charred Amburana barrels. And then we started getting some of these toasted Amburana barrels in. We just felt like it added another level of kind of that sweet, caramelly notes that we liked. And so this is literally just that blend of bourbon. We put it in Amburana for 5 days, and that is what you get. And it's crazy. You put it in there day one and you already notice the difference. And there's not a lot of barrels like that. So, would love to hear some tasting notes. What's everybody getting from this? I don't want to just lead and the power of suggestion being like, oh yeah, I get cinnamon, I get spice. But with Amburana, I feel like it is always funny to hear what people get because it is such just a wild note. You get some crazy things where people are like, oh, I get like raspberry jello. And I'm like, I could see that, there's just some wild stuff on the palate of this bourbon, but it's 115 proof. So you got a few things working. You've got what I'd call kind of like a medium spice bourbon. It's only about 10% rye. So kind of lower medium spice bourbon. And then you've got the proof, which cuts through nicely. You've got a lot of that creaminess and spice from the Amburana, but it just is, it's like if your mother's pumpkin pie decided to create a bourbon, that's what this could be. And now I'm thinking of ideas like pumpkin spice bourbon lattes for next year's advent calendar may be the way to go.
Oh yeah, we got Benjamin here saying that he's pairing it with M&Ms, and I approve of the pairing 100%.
I want to know 2 things, Benjamin. I want to know Are you just eating plain M&Ms? That's number 1. 2, are they the green and red M&Ms? Okay, are we already getting into the holiday spirit? And then 3, are you doing it like with a little mix with the peanuts kind of situation? Or is it just plain M&Ms? Okay.
Ooh, that's good questions there. Yeah, Brian, what's your take? I know you like Ambarana, which is controversial in some of the circles we run in, but like from this one, do you get a ton of the spice? Is it more of just the sweeter notes? And then what do you think it is that throws people off so much about it?
So it is just such a polar. I mean, for you to even mention that you stick with finishing times that are like 3 to 5 days shows how powerful these barrels are. I like you, and it honestly we might have been together when we first trying these at Starlight. I can't recall, but I think we were. And yeah, it was a bit of a shock to the system. Now, that said, since then, I think we saw a trend where everyone in the industry was doing this, okay? And so I can see, with it being so intense, how it can be polarizing. With me specifically, I like flavors, I like nuance, and I like the concept of Ambarana and what it adds, because generally, when I think about a whiskey and I think about spiciness, it's usually like really strong cinnamon notes, and some people like that and some people don't, or like some sort of mix with the heat or with the bite. But Ambarana adds just like it adds a layer of spices that I feel like often aren't found in other bourbons, maybe other whiskeys, like maybe an aged brandy or something like that. You can get some little kind of nuances like that, but I don't feel like you do all that much. So Ambarana is nice, and I like it when we touched it just a little bit. If you go back to another release that we've done with Seelbach, when we were playing around with the old age and we want to do like cab and then Ambarana, we're like, oh, a cab Ambarana would be fun. But then we put like a drop of the Ambarana into the mix, and we're like, the whole thing tastes like
it's
tons
just
of Ambarana
at this point. Yeah.
but I would love to, on that note though, maybe it's for another conversation. I'd like to hear what it's like with you working with Ambarana, not just to put it in a product like this, but like if you've blended with a component like that, how difficult is it to work with that? But again, we can save that if that gets too derivative. I got some more comments to show. Hold on, Benjamin, let's go back here. Plain M&Ms, regular colors, leftover, eating them in color order. Okay, that's commitment. Okay, here we go. Ooh, look at this one. Dennis says, reminds me of an apple cinnamon cranberry babka I tried recently. Look at that. Oh, man. We got some water droppers.
That's kind of my thing, is like all the things that people describe it as are things I love and think are delicious. It's like cinnamon toast crunch, bread pudding, like all of those things. And somebody, I missed I lost the comment earlier, but they said would be good in eggnog. And I've started playing around with that. I started doing some eggnog aging experiments, and it's incredible in eggnog. Now you don't need a lot, but
yeah, it's in my batch.
Yeah, it is. It's a very great addition because you're already amplifying things with cinnamon and nutmeg, so some spice in the eggnog, and I think it accentuates all of those flavor notes in the eggnog and is a delicious pour. And
a couple
to your
comments.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna jump in with a couple of comments from Instagram before I lose them. So, K Simmons says agree with the cinnamon tasting note. Spencer wanted to compliment you, saying the mic is better than usual, Blake. So just another compliment there.
There we go.
Matt said this one reminds me of how pipe tobacco smells, and I love that one because I feel like that's one of those layers that you get from Ambarana that can place itself so nicely into a bit. And then another comment that says I thought it was very mellow for 115 proof.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think the Ambarana does round out some of that proofiness, which is always nice to see. And that's where it is hard. Kind of to your point earlier on, what it's like to blend with other things, not to give any spoilers, but there is another sample in this tasting kit that is Ambrana blended with something else. And like Brian said, when we got to the cab, it was like, well, all you taste is Ambrana from now on. And so, well, I guess I'll get, if you read the emails, you'll know that we released our Christmas rye today. So that's not ruining any surprises. But
humidor, right? Like you had to blend it with humidor.
Thing. I mean, it was balancing that out with a bunch of different things. Spanish oak, the cognac finish, unfinished 7.5-year-old bourbon. It's kind of that same thing where it's like you just want a touch of it. And I think the humidor is even more so, where we took this whole blend. We had a super almost tannic and very structured whiskey coming out of those Spanish oak barrels. And then we said, okay, let's tone this down a little bit and build up we've got this backbone of the humidor blend, which is the Spanish oak. Let's add some meat to it, which is the sweetness and kind of more bourbon forward notes of the cognac finish. And just 2% of that blend actually went into Ambrana for just a few days. And same thing where it was like, you don't need a lot of it. It just is a nice small touch of it. It adds a good spice note, and that was it. And it really comes together nicely. So I think it's like anything, it's like chili pepper or something. When you're cooking, it can really amplify a dish, but if you add too much of it, all you get is spice. And that's kind of where Ambrana lands for me.
Well, you really nailed it with this one. So
I
think everybody's agreeing with that too on our comments here. So
it is always
Matt
great.
Comments again says absolutely delicious pour. We had a great first day. We've set the bar high with this one. It sounds like. Yeah.
That's the always great to hear. Sometimes it's a little nerve-wracking to get on some of these lives. You're like, man, what if somebody cracks that first pour open and like, well, this sucks. Like, and we know, like, out of 24 pours, you may not love all of them, but that's the purpose of the kit. Is you may find something that you were a little bit unsure about, and you found a new favorite. And so we started off a little edgy with the Ambrana, but I think that is the fun of an advent calendar, because it is almost a journey of you're going through a bunch of different things, from bourbons to ryes, finished bourbons, unfinished bourbons, higher age statements, lower age statements, producers outside of Kentucky. I know that's crazy to some. It is just kind of this whole journey that people go on.
I will also mention, I'm not purposefully trying to make these like salesy or whatever. And I also understand if you're in the live tasting, you probably, a lot of you have the advent calendar, so you know how to find us. But just while you're here, or for people who are popping in, which they wouldn't catch this minute marker now, but this QR code right here just takes you to the advent calendar page, where we have like kind of a running kind of banner where all those bottles are. For anyone who catches the replay though, and they're just kind of wondering like, what are you doing? What are you tasting through? What are you talking about? And I'll try and do a better job of talking about that in future videos, just to mention this code up here will take you right to that. So if you're watching on your computer or something like that, you can just scan it, on your phone, just so that's kind of going on too. But.
Oh yeah. The QR code is, man, we have come a long way on the technology. Look, QR code takes you directly to it. That is amazing. Yeah. And I will say,
I don't actually know that. Someone please check me, because I really hope it didn't send you somewhere else.
We didn't even show off the booklet that comes with it, where you've got your table of contents. You can shop the collection. I will say that if you enjoy this one, you'll really like the Christmas rye as well. Same vein. The rye characteristics add a different note of a little more of that like herbally, minty, Christmas tree notes to it. And then the maple just rounds it all out again with, it's just like an amplified rye.
Plus the Christmas rye just comes in like the cutest bottle. It's like you don't even have to wrap it. You can just gift it. I'm buying 6 of them and I'm just handing them out. Everybody's getting a bottle. You get a bottle. I'm Oprah. You get a bottle.
The Christmas rye is I think it's a surprisingly really, really tasty rye. I think that if not knowing what you liked about this pour, I can't see how you wouldn't like that pour though. I think it's better. Just if we're comparing them. I got one more comment I'm going to highlight real quick right below here. Benjamin said, definitely need more sample packs like this to try small producer whiskeys before committing to 750. So with this being our first year too, as you join with us, please let us know whether you're emailing, leave a comment down here, sharing a picture about it or whatever. Like we'd love to hear after this how it was received by you all. We won't know that feedback unless you give it to us, but we want to know. We want to know so that Emily can continue to do amazing work. And whether we should do this next year, or if you all like the format so much, even outside of Advent, that we should have something like that available. We need to hear that kind of stuff from you all to be able to make those kind of decisions. So please chime in however you see fit in the comments, whether that's on Instagram, whether it's here on a post that you see, or just shooting us a line.
Yeah, very good. I feel like now I'm like feeling pretty good after a few sips of Amburana, and I'm ready to turn this full QVC of like, okay, for today only, you get free shipping.
I need the chat ticker. We got to put a timer in here because that's what happened when I was in TikTok. It's like, I've only got 5 minutes to make a decision. So.
We're going all used car salesman on the Advent calendar live streams. So one point of correction, this one was actually 10 days in Amburana, and it was the second use toasted Amburana barrels. I was thinking it was 5, but it was 10. But even at 10 days, you can kind of see like that ain't a whole lot of time, and it just adds a ton of flavor in everything to the whiskey. And I think that's the fun part about the private reserve is we are able to tinker around with these things. There's a bunch of random finishing barrels together, and some days you're just in the warehouse and you're like, I don't know, how does a cab finish blend with a maple? How does a maple blend with a Amburana, or a maple blend with a rum finish? So that's kind of where we keep the private reserve kind of ethos of it, of yes, we'll have the stuff that people just chase and want to get, like the 15-year, but it's fun to do experiments like this because we see a lot of whiskey and we try to fill in gaps where there's stuff that we really like, that we think is really good, that's not really on the market. So that's where the Amburana started. Now there's a lot of Amburana. I think the first one we ever did was actually a 9-year, 91% corn MGP bourbon finished in Amburana, and that was pretty wild. I think at the time it was the oldest Amburana ever released. I don't know if that's still the case. I'd have to double check that. But we found that like certainly you can do it, but I think something with a little more spice to it and a little more balance pairs better with the Amburana finish. Those 99.1 corn barrels, they're good. They're almost a little one-noted at times, and it's like, oh, I've got sweet and I've got Amburana spice, and there's nothing in between. That's where these Bardstown barrels, they came through really nicely. So
yeah, I got another comment over here on Instagram saying best part of the set is that they've not had any of them so far, so it's a new experience. Hope to keep doing this in the future. So appreciate the comment. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's another thing that we thought about aside of just the Advent calendar. The hardest part, and actually this kind of ties in with this comment too. That's the thing that we try and do at Seelbach. It's really hard to articulate sometimes because you don't want to be like, everyone's going to be like, come get this. This is the best. This is unique. This is whatever. Like everyone's going to say something like that, but we're really trying to find a whole lot of interesting things. But as a consumer, the difficulty is just not knowing, what those things are sometimes, how to taste them. So this right here is allowing us to essentially roll up with a with a virtual tasting bar to your house and saying, hey, let's share some of these pours together. So glad you guys get to try some of the cool things we have in here.
Well, in one other small teaser, I forget who it was, but they asked about like other sampler packs. That is something we're working on. Some people may start seeing some small 50 mLs arrive in their box or their orders over the next month or so from another one of our favorite producers, 13th Colony. Because we do think it's really important. And for the longest time, we couldn't figure out the best way to do that legally. You know, you can't just crack a bottle open and pour samples into 50 mLs as much as we'd like. That is not legal. And we don't want to risk anything and be on the up and up. So we have started working with some people to get some 50 mLs so you can try it. And that's the big thing is, and kind of leading perfectly into the question on the screen right now is what inspired the Advent calendar. I think it's, back to what I said when we first started was there's a few things that always come up as suggestions from talking to customers, and smaller format bottles is by far probably the first suggestion we get from people, because people do. It's like, I understand a lot of the brands we support and carry and promote is probably one you may have never heard of or tried. And so this just seemed like the perfect way to get a bunch of different pours in front of people without them having to go and spend $100 on a bottle that they may hate. So we don't expect anyone to go buy all 24 bottles at the end of it, but we do hope that you'll find one or two that you really like. I mean, I know that sounds like a sales pitch, but it's not. Like, the goal is to help you find your next favorite whiskey. Trademark that. Advent calendar's goal is to make you, or hopefully you find your next favorite whiskey. But that was the goal. And it just gets producers we love in front of a bigger audience. It gets people trying new whiskeys. And at the end of the day, like, that's what Seelbach is built on.
Yeah, you may never have bought a bottle from, some of these distilleries. That's the whole point.
That is the fun. There we go. I've discovered so many, and I will say, I know we send a lot of emails. You don't have to read all of them. You can delete as soon as they come in, but we kind of think of it as just educational. At the same time, we are selling products. I'm actually probably more excited when people tell me, oh, I read all your emails, but I've never bought from you. I'm like, perfect. That's actually a great thing to hear, because we want to get really good information out there. And, we put a lot of work and effort into making those emails have a nugget or two in there where even if you're just strolling down a aisle of a liquor store later on and you're like, oh, there is X, Y, and Z bottle. I saw that email a couple months ago. I already know the backstory, and you grab that bottle. Like, that's still a huge win for us, and what we love to see.
Absolutely.
Well, cool. Well, I don't want to take up everybody's night. I could sit here and drink and talk about Ambrana and Seelbach and Advent Calendar. Any other final questions or comments about the product? I was trying to pull up some of the Instagram. We got an Instagram comment. Best part of this is that I've not had any of them, so each is a new experience. I hope you continue to do this in the future. Same thing. Like, that's exactly what we built this Advent calendar for, was to give that new experience, to showcase different whiskeys. So yeah, that's always great to hear. And I love that we've had like slow elevator music on in the background the whole time too.
Yeah, do I need that? Well, I mean, when we were doing the testing out, I was doing the game show stuff, and I haven't pulled any out. So, kudos to you, Blake, for a successful first night. You know what I mean?
Awesome. Well, our next live is
Pursuit.
Pursuit.
On Wednesday.
Pursuit on Wednesday. So, obviously, thank you all for joining us for this first one. If you have any more questions, comments, feel free to comment that in the comment section of YouTube. Send us an email, whatever is easiest for you. But no, excited to kick this off. So Emily and Brian, thanks for joining me. And Emily, thank you so much for putting this together. I really was hoping your title tag there was just going to be "She Does It All." Or what was it? What can't she do?
Throw it at her. She'll figure it out. Yeah, exactly.
That is. Me and Brian's personality are great at ideas and things and getting people excited about whiskey. When it comes to filing 17 different transfer and bonds and ordering glass and caps and designers, that's where we're like, oh, this sounds like work. I think Emily would like this.
Yeah, we have to thank our fantastic co-packer for a lot of that as well. So.
I did. Oh, I forgot to say that. I actually pulled a Manifest glass.
Yes.
If you don't know, Manifest is the distillery who does all of our co-packing here in Jacksonville, Florida. They have great whiskey themselves, but also work with us and other brands for co-packing. They did an incredible job on those. And Liquid Ministry for the bottles. I had somebody tell me, they're like, I figured I'd buy the calendar, and then if all else fails, at least I had 24 Liquid Ministry bottles that I could put into my collection. I'm like, that's true. You can peel those stickers off and then take 24 samples with you wherever you go. So they were great to work with. I feel like we need, the Academy Awards where they have a list of people they were supposed to thank. We probably should have started the show with that, but no, thank you to all the brands and suppliers that worked with us on this, and Manifest for all the packing and packaging, and Liquid Ministry for the bottles and the boxes, Mighty Few who did the design work, great design firm out of Chicago. A lot of people involved in this. It's fun for us to get in here and drink whiskey and talk about how fun it is to have this whiskey, but tons of people behind the scenes that actually made it happen. So thank you to all of them. Awesome. Well, I think that wraps up night one of the Seelbach Advent Calendar. So like we said, we'll be back Wednesday with...
Don't hold on. We can't give the spoilers though, because some people didn't read who it is. So from now on, we can say the next time we're going to be tasting, but
next time we'll be tasting with is Wednesday. So mark your calendars, 9:00 Wednesday. We will be back. We won't say who it is or what you'll be tasting. We can only say it's great whiskey.
And I apologize. Put me on the naughty list.
Yeah.
Okay. That's okay. Guys, give us a follow so you can catch when the next live is. You get a little notification that's coming up so you don't miss it. And you should just be subscribed to the channel anyway, because we just do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for tuning in.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll catch you guys on Wednesday. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.